Okay.
On April 1st, 1984, the legendary singer-songwriter Marvin Gaye.
What's on the part?
Now one of America's top forensic pathologists, Dr. Michael Hunter, is investigating the star's unusual. Marvin Gaye's autopsy, along with court records, show underlying issues which I think contributed to this tragedy. I have so far discovered that father and son had always had a difficult relationship, and that Marvin Jr. was struggling with numerous personal problems. On top of that, Marvin smoked marijuana and PCP, which made him increasingly paranoid that someone was going to kill him.
Yeah, I'm gonna join their server. This guy's trying to kill me.
I'm really nervous. There's a lot on the line.
Oh wow, it's gorgeous. I love that every day brings a new happy moment, a new challenge.
Girl, I'm gonna say what I want to say when I feel like it, and don't care who don't like it.
They have no idea what's coming.
So I said, yeah, you're saving hundreds with the Home Alone bundle from Progressive, but there's no saving that casserole.
I just love that word bundle. It's so fun. So you have two things coming together like a force of nature. It's really meant to be, you know?
Yes. Yes, I do. I'm so glad you want to see me.
Let's go do a picture ride with you. I never said it. Well, you didn't say it, was it?
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah.
If I could be anything, I would be dancer, singer, and artist. A superhero.
To do with banking. Kids are our future. That's why we help teach kids to save, so they're better prepared to chase their dreams.
Worryingly, the autopsy also reveals he was likely addicted to cocaine near the time of August 14th, Pacific Amphitheater, Costa Mesa, California.
Bro, I just said
Last concert of the Stars' comeback tour, and Marvin and his entourage are consuming copious amounts of drugs.
I don't know how he was doing all those shows. Every night, dude.
Now one of America's top forensic pathologists, Dr. Michael Hunter, is investigating the star's unusual death. Marvin Gaye's autopsy, along with court records, show underlying issues which I think contributed to this tragedy. I have so far discovered that father and son have always had a difficult relationship, and that Marvin Jr. was struggling with numerous personal problems. On top of that, Marvin smoked marijuana and PCP, which made him increasingly paranoid that someone was going to kill him. Worryingly, the autopsy also reveals he was likely addicted to cocaine near the time of his death. August 14th, 1983, Pacific Amphitheater, Costa Mesa, California. It's the last concert of the Stars' comeback tour, and Marvin and his entourage are consuming copious amounts of drugs.
I don't know how he was doing all those shows. Every night he did his show, and I take him back to the hotel, and he'd do drugs all night.
The amount of drugs he was doing was just getting crazier and crazier.
But Marvin's dark cravings conflict with his faith.
He had a Baptist preacher come on tour with him, and yet he'd be taking as much cocaine as he could get hold of without his bodyguards throwing people out of the room.
I see that Marvin Gaye's autopsy report states that he had a mucosal ulcer on the left side of his septum, and that's the fleshy wall between the nostrils which separates the nose chambers. This ulcer is very consistent with someone who has snorted a lot of cocaine over a long period of time. Many link Marvin's dark addiction to the time of a tragic event some years earlier. At the height of his career, in 1967, Motown teamed him with up-and-coming singer, 22-year-old Tammy Terrell. They had an instant rapport, which was evident in their smash hit, Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
for sure.
The relationship between Tammy and Marvin was amazing. It was made in heaven. And I think there was a lot of love in that music and energy. There was such a perfect fit with their song and harmonies. Just magical.
He really did a lot of Although their relationship was platonic, Tammy's impact on Marvin's life and career was immeasurable. But it was dramatically cut short.
Tammy collapsed on stage in a concert with Marvin in 1967 and she died in 1970. And that really unhinged Marvin.
Devastated by the loss of his good friend and musical soulmate, Marvin turned to cocaine.
Drug of choice was cocaine after the Tammy Terrell death.
What are you
It
doing,
was
Brandon?
the thing that sort of reduced his pain and gave him the confidence that he wanted.
So as a means of coping with this pain, he was thirsty. And in order to use this words spelt. They're easy to get, they're all around, and they allow you to kind of be somewhere else when you don't want to be inside your life, and that's when the addiction begins.
Let me look. Stop attacking me!
Looking at his
you know
autopsy
she ran out.
report, I see an indication that he was using cocaine in his last few days. A small amount of the drug byproduct, benzoylecgonine, was found in his blood when he died. When cocaine is consumed, it gets quickly metabolized in the liver to form benzoylecgonine, which is the compound detected in urine bloodstream. Benzoylecgonine normally stays in the system for between 2 to 4 days, depending on the dose. So this pattern proves that Marvin Gaye was still using the drug around the time of his death. Tammy's death didn't only drive him to cocaine, it also lit the fuse for a long battle with depression.
After Tammy Terrell's death, we broke down, we started to cancel concerts and recording sessions, and he seemed to get into different conflicts all over the place.
Marvin had a definite problem with depression. And when he looked he was smoking and didn't think he was really working much.
When I would see him, I knew he was depressed, and it was obvious that he was not happy, that he was deeply troubled and down. At one point, a few years before his death, Marvin even attempted to escape his depression and drug problems by hiding away in Belgium.
There was no big drug scene in Moscow, so this was a place where he could really kind of like recharge his batteries, and he started to stop taking drugs and live a very, very different life.
He needed to kind of just step out of the icon of Marvin Gaye and try to rebuild himself and figure himself out.
But once back touring in the U.S., his problems resurfaced, became increasingly debilitating. May 31st, 1983, Miami, Florida. Less than a year before his death, and halfway through his final tour, Marvin Gaye was admitted to the hospital.
He cancelled the next 2 days and checked into a private hospital, and they said he was suffering from exhaustion and dehydration.
In my opinion, Marvin's symptoms, particularly his extreme exhaustion and fatigue, were physical signs of depression. He was clearly at rock bottom, both physiologically and psychologically. And in the days leading up to his death, it appears he was still suffering from depression, and his drug use increased dramatically. Were these factors in some way implicated in his death? Legendary soul singer Marvin Gaye was shot by his own father on April 1st, 1984. Now, leading forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Hunter is scrutinizing the evidence surrounding this shocking crime. There have been a number of theories as to why Marvin Gaye was shot by his father, but for me, some of the evidence simply doesn't add up. Therefore, I'm reanalyzing this unusual case of filicide to uncover what was really happening, both physiologically and psychologically, to both father and son.
To drive. It's my me time, my getaway, my escape. Nothing can ruin it, except for a car breakdown. That's why I call CarShield. CarShield administrators help get those repairs paid. I trust CarShield with my baby, and you should too. CarShield has plans that include protection on major parts and systems like the engine, transmission, entertainment system, air conditioning, electronics, and more. CarShield administrators go the extra mile by including rental car options. You also get emergency services for flat or damaged tires, lockouts, dead batteries, and courtesy towing. All at no additional cost. Darlings, saving on expensive car repairs is just a phone call away. For me, it's a no-brainer.
Protect yourself from the unprecedented rise in costs for parts and repairs. Call now to save money with your price lock guarantees at 800-878-5257.
So many people are overweight now and asking themselves, why can't I lose weight? For most, the reason is insulin resistance, and they don't even know they have it. Conventional starvation diets don't address insulin resistance. That's why they don't work. Now there's Golo. Golo helps with insulin resistance, getting rid of sugar cravings, helps control stress and emotional eating, and losing weight. Go to Golo.com and see how Golo can change your life. That's GOLO.com.
March 1st, 1984, Los Angeles. 1 month before Marvin Gaye's death. After his grueling 5-month tour and a divorce from his second wife, Janice, Marvin has retreated back to his parents' house.
I was around the house quite a bit because Mother liked me.
Marvin wants to be with his mother, as she has recently been in ill health.
Everybody be all around. It was a lot of love, a lot of fun. It was really magical. And then something cold hit the air, and everyone's a little shivery.
Drugs are still a huge part of the singer's life.
The cocaine became stronger and stronger, and everything was around the cocaine.
Marvin has numerous friends and other hangers-on who are constantly coming and going from the house.
There were all kinds of crazy bad things happening. All these bad people were around. It was just bad, and drugs, and it was terrible, terrible, terrible.
The prodigal son's return annoys his frustrated preacher father. Drug abuse and a house full of people are increasing tensions between them.
Marvin's father was very disapproving of Marvin's lifestyle.
Added to that, Marvin Sr. always struggled with his son's success.
I think Father was very blessed in some ways. He'd say, you're successful in the devil's world of materialism. And I don't accept that.
Some have suggested Marvin Gaye Sr.'s jealousy was due to the fact that he wasn't successful in his own career. His son's fame only heightened his sense of fame.
Marvin's dad was very domineering, very controlling, but then his son goes on to be one of the biggest stars of his generation. So it made thoughts quite emasculating, and as a consequence, that relationship between them, which was very tumultuous, that just gets worse and worse and worse.
During his childhood, Marvin's father was an unyielding disciplinarian, and Marvin bore the brunt of his father's brutality.
If Marvin did things that his father disapproved of, his father's way of dealing with it was to beat them with his belt, with a leather strap.
Being beaten is a very demeaning thing, very dehumanizing thing to go through. And to go through it at the hands of a parent, and to go through it in a way that your siblings aren't, will single you out, would have made him feel very angry, it would have made him feel belittled.
The relationship between Marvin and his father was terrible. It was always a bad situation.
March 18th, 1984, Los Angeles. 2 weeks before his death. Marvin Gaye is hiding away in his room, and his reclusiveness begins to concern his friends.
I didn't hear from him for a little while, so I decided I'm gonna come over. And so I'd go over and take him a little while to come down, but the whole mood and atmosphere in it was sort of somber when we walked in. And I just knew that he wasn't himself, that a lot of life had gone out of him.
Marvin isn't only himself away. His paranoia is also getting worse.
People were out to kill him. He had voices coming out of telephones, and he'd rip them out of the wall. He would be at home and see shadows in the bushes.
Marvin became so paranoid that someone might try and kill him that he gave his father a Smith & Wesson .38 caliber pistol so he could protect the family. But did Marvin have any idea that this gun would end up becoming his own murder weapon?
We know that paranoia goes hand in hand with the type of drugs that he was taking, so it's probably that his whole inner world is in such turmoil that he's hypersensitive to all threat. He's hypersensitive to anything bad happening. He feels he needs to protect himself.
It's reported Marvin's increasing paranoia led to increased drug abuse. This became a vicious cycle. More drugs led to more paranoia, and more paranoia led to more drugs.
He looked like he had been at the drug parties or sitting at home doing by himself or whatever too much. You didn't see that light, that fire in him at all anymore.
March 20th, 1984, Los Angeles. Less than 2 weeks before his death. Marvin's depression and paranoia turn his thoughts to suicide.
I found him in his room, all alone, with a gun. And I said, Marvin, what are you doing? But he didn't do it.
This wasn't the first time he'd considered suicide. There were several reported incidents, including a drug overdose 4 years before he died.
I tried to commit suicide through an overdose of cocaine. I was in an emotional state, but I'm pretty depressed most of the time.
I always thought about suicide. I was so unhappy.
Marvin wanted to kill himself, but never pulled the trigger. Just basically a troubled man.
I think the self-destructive that Marvin gets into is something that never really leaves him. There comes a point where he's trying anything to make himself feel better. So drugs, even playing around with guns, and I think that's where this is very kind of macabre, I'm alive but I don't want to be here. It's all about trying to get away from this pain that clearly he can't seem to get away from.
Go away!
It seems it wasn't just Marvin Gaye Jr.'s mental state that was unstable. Dr. Hunter has found evidence that Marvin Gaye Sr. was battling his own demons. According to court records, his father was an alcoholic, and it's been said that he was drinking heavily during the last weeks of his son's life.
He liked his vodka. And he would have that vodka in the morning, and that can kind of make you a little drowsy later in the day.
But we're not fighting! It's not funny, stop.
Everything that House Targaryen possesses is owed to it.
Bro!
Without them, I dislike everyone else.
Dragon Sound is one thing. The Iron Throne is the most dangerous seat in the realm.
Hey! What's that get? Yeah, you want this hour?
So I said, yeah, you're saving hundreds with the Home Alone bundle from Progressive, but there's no saving that casserole.
I just love that word bundle. It's so fun. So you have two things coming together in the force of nature.
Sword. Give me a sword.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
so glad you didn't sleep in. Well, we still have fun with John. Okay.
John, is it still cool if I catch a ride home with you? I never said it was. Yeah, technically, you didn't say it wasn't. It's not. Yeah.
When you shop at Walmart, you spend a little less. So you can take on school the best way.
You're right.
Spend less on all your back-to-school must-haves like the new HP 11.6 Chromebook.
I'm not lying. It does. I just said don't spam jump, and that's what. Well, stop being a tryharder. Yeah, hold on. I said we are fine, and this guy said, fine, we'll try. He literally did it 3 times already. So this guy's just trying to get my stuff. Yeah, I'm going back to protection center.
Long-term alcohol abuse can damage the brain and nervous system, and also lead to depression and symptoms of dementia. It can also make the user behave irrationally and even violently. But was his alcoholism the only factor at play with Martin Sr.?
Well, get out!
Acclaimed forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Hunter is investigating the real reason Marvin Gaye was shot by his own father.
I'm building a picture of someone who was hooked on narcotics and had probably developed a drug-fueled psychosis, which made him paranoid and possibly suicidal. There was unmistakable tension with his alcoholic father, but why did Marvin Gaye Sr. end up shooting himself?
Well, stop.
March 30th, 1984, Los Angeles, 2 days before Marvin Gaye's death. The atmosphere in the house is like a pressure cooker. Both Marvins, Jr. and Sr., are hiding away in their rooms, alone with their addictions.
The house started to feel like it was haunted in some ways. A cloud was there. You couldn't get a positive vibration going in there. Whatever you had to do there, do it and get out. Kind of scary.
Can I ask for I never said that.
Holed up in his room taking various drugs, the singer is becoming more spiritual and reflective.
Marvin said, angels looking out for me. He said, this is what I believe. He said, Dave, you know, man, I really love you. So you're always there for me.
If you kill me, I'm leaving, okay?
That's all. I love you too. This is the last time we spoke.
March 31st, 1984, Los Angeles, the day before the star's death. Marvin is spending time in his mother Alberta's room, where she often reads the Bible to her tormented son. In his mother's eyes, he can do no more.
Mother really had nothing bad to say about Marvin. And she loved some Marvin. And she was supportive of her son.
Marvin's relationship with his mother was very strong. They were each other's favorites. And it was clear to everyone around them, especially to the dad. And this is something Marvin's dad very much resented.
Marvin Gaye Sr.'s resentment rage. He has mislaid some documents and is looking for someone to blame.
My sister told me to stay away from the house. It's getting crazy over there. Father's off the hook. Marvin's off the hook. And there's a lot of fighting, arguing.
April 1st, 1984, Los Angeles, 12 p.m., the day of Marvin Gaye's death. Marvin and his mother are reading the Bible, but his father is still looking for his documents.
What place of block? Dad, well, I'm close to the
Suddenly erupt.
Bro, it almost stopped my recording. Now this could be a problem if you get to.
Alberta urgently rushes Marvin back to his room.
Man.
But the fight isn't over as far as Marvin Gaye Sr. is concerned. He grabs the gun his son had bought for him as a means of protection and enters Marvin
Bro, you're
Jr.'s
still. You see him spin jumping, bro. I'm about to eat up. Leg up.
He fires for a second time.
No, that's it.
Marvin Gaye Sr. returns to his room in a daze.
Marvin's brother, Frankie's in a guest house close to the main house. Here's the shot.
Frankie dashes to his parents' house and is confronted with the tragic scene.
Yeah, you get locked in.
Paramedics arrive quickly, but they refuse to enter the house while Marvin Sr. and the weapon are still inside. The singer is dying in his brother's arms, and Frankie's wife Irene desperately searches for the gun.
According to reports, Marvin was lying in a pool of blood, which indicates that he was severely injured, but he could have still been alive. 20 minutes had passed by the time the medics could get access to Marvin, and by that point, the blood loss would have been extensive.
1st, 1984, 12:56 p.m. California Hospital Medical Center. Marvin is rushed straight into the emergency room. Doctors fight to save his life.
It's likely that a thoracotomy was done, and incision into the chest to identify and treat the source of blood loss, and if needed, to initiate manual heart massage to support blood flow to the other organs.
But attempts proved futile. April 1st, 1984, 1:01 p.m. Marvin Gaye Jr. is pronounced dead.
Stop! Oh my god, bro.
The phone rang. It was Irene, Frankie's wife. She said, Dave, come quick. Father just shot Marvin. We had to go to the police department with his mom. She had to tell the police everything that happened. That was it.
That was just. If your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms are stopping you in your tracks, choose Stelara from the start and move toward relief.
Bro! Okay.
Every 2 months.
Stelara may increase your risk of infections, hemophilia, and cancer. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection. Flu-like symptoms, or worse than skin burst, have had cancer, or if you need a vaccine. PRES, a rare potentially fatal brain condition, may be possible. Some serious allergic reaction from lung inflammation can occur.
Feel unstoppable. Ask your doctor how lasting remission can start with Stelara. Jensen can help you explore cost before options.
So I said, yeah, you're saving hundreds with the Home Alone bundle from Progressive, but there's no saving that casserole.
I just love that word bundle. It's so fun. So the two things coming together. You want to be, yeah?
Yes, I do.
I want to save money. Yeah, they set up a bundle for John Hamm. Okay.
Is it still cool to take a ride home with you? Or you never stay home? Yeah, but technically you didn't go right.
Do I know why more and more people are switching every day to freeway? Easy. 1, low prices. 2, tickets, accidents, young driver. It doesn't matter. 3, saving drivers money on your auto insurance for more than 30 years. 4, easy purchase options. You can click, call, or just come in.
Freeway insurance can save you up to 30% today. Freeway. Driving safe. Freeway.com or 800-760-4018. 800-760-4018.
I love him. He's missing all his kind of meaning in it.
Not people caring about it. Don't miss them.
Dr. Hunter has been forensically re-examining reports of the crime scene and has developed a brand new theory regarding the events of that fateful day, turning the perceived conclusion on its head.
Marvin Gaye Jr. was shot twice. The court report states that the first hit was to the chest and the second was to his shoulder. But on further investigation, my theory is that the order of shots was the other way around.
And Dr. Hunter's surprising discovery leads him to a startling new revelation. On April 1st, 1984, Marvin Gaye, the 44-year-old legendary soul singer, was shot dead by his father. Renowned forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Hunter is analyzing Marvin's autopsy and other forensic evidence to build a picture of what happened on that day.
So far, I have established that Marvin Gaye had been struggling with the chemical and physical effects of drug use, clinical depression, and had possibly attempted suicide on a number of occasions. But most fragile of all was his highly dysfunctional relationship with his alcoholic father.
Evidence from the court found that Marvin Marvin Gaye Sr. intended to kill his son.
First shot was fired at some distance, the second shot was fired at close to point blank range. So apparently he moved in, indicating he had time to reflect on what he was about to do.
But having dug deeper into the star's autopsy, Dr. Hunter turns this theory on its head.
The court believed the first shot was from a distance and the second was close range. In my opinion, the reason for this conclusion is that the field watch with most killers will shoot from a distance, and then, once their victim is incapacitated, they're able to get closer and shoot again. However, in this unusual case of filicide, I believe the opposite occurred. The primary thing I look for when investigating a shooting is the way the victim was hit and the position of the assailant when the shot was fired. In my analysis, the first shot is to the left shoulder. The wound indicates that the two men were standing facing each other around 2 feet apart. When his father pulled the trigger, the bullet penetrated the left shoulder just below the clavicle and exited his back without causing any serious injury.
However, the impact caused him to fall down. The abrasions found on his knees and left hand are consistent with this. The second and most likely fatal shot very damaging and fine trajectory. The bullet traveled diagonally down through the lungs, heart, backbone, liver, and kidney, finally embedding itself on the left side of the torso. The direction of the bullet's trajectory suggests Marvin's position toward his body, and that his father was likely to have been moving away at the time. For Dr. Hunter, the angle of both bullets means this had to be the order the shots were fired. Marvin Gaye Sr. was charged with voluntary manslaughter instead of murder, because the doctors made an astonishing discovery that suggested he may not have been responsible for his actions.
When the doctors examined Marvin Gaye Sr. after the shooting, they diagnosed him with a brain tumor. Brain tumors can cause personality changes such as confusion, anxiety, mood swings, and aggression. These, combined with alcoholism, may have meant Marvin Gaye Sr. had a very short fuse and couldn't make rational judgments.
The nature of the tumor and the location of the tumor causes Father Gaye to go in and out, and by that we mean that on any one given day he can appear competent, and on another given day he can appear incompetent.
As a result, Marvin Gaye Sr. would have had diminished responsibility for his actions. On top of that, the shooting was thought to be an act of self-defense.
Seems to be agreed by everybody that the young man who died tragically, provoked this incident, and it was all his fault.
Many believe that this was because Marvin was high on drugs and the media reported a cocaine-fueled attack. But the toxicology report reveals there is no active cocaine found in the star's body when he died. Although I've already discovered a byproduct of this drug was present in his blood, this is only an indication that he had used the drug in the last few days. Cocaine would not have affected him at the time of the shooting. They also looked for PCP, and again, none was found despite reports saying otherwise. Therefore, I do not believe that Marvin's behavior was directly linked to an acute drug intoxication.
Although Dr. Hunter agrees the provocation likely led to the shooting, he also believes Marvin's actions were entirely calculated.
Since the first shot didn't have a major debilitating effect, why didn't the singer quickly try to either tackle or run from his armed father when he had the chance? I think there is one other factor to consider: his depression.
Dr. Hunter has already discovered Marvin had previously tried to kill himself on several occasions.
I tried to commit suicide. I'm pretty depressed.
Marvin Gaye may have survived had he attempted to escape from his father. His religious father always told him, "I brought you into this world, and I can take you out." And this fed into Marvin's conflicted mind. So, by goading his father, he may have manipulated his own death.
The
must have thought, if I got my father really angry, would he do it? And then he must have thought what the consequences of that would be. It's a rather bizarre scenario, but it sort of achieved two things at one time. It kind of punished the father and got Marvin out of line.
I think the whole thing was a suicide. He wanted his old man to kill him. He saw a way to make the old man suffer, and be guilty of murdering his son. I think Marvin really had thought it through.
I mean this from my heart. I wish I could do it back. I just really, it's killing me. And I'm paying the price for 200 room. God knows I'm getting the truth.
Marvin Gaye Sr. pleaded no contest to voluntary manslaughter and received a 6-year suspended sentence. He died from pneumonia 14 years after killing his son.
Marvin Gaye was a huge talent, but the joy he gave to so many was sadly missing from his own life. And in the end, his father may have given him a way out.
It was one of the great experiences of my life working with him. And seeing him getting his just due towards the end and have it all wasted. I still miss him today.
I think the legacy of Marvin is his love. We had a lot of fun together. I miss him very much. And probably one of the best friends I had.
Actress and icon Farrah Fawcett died this morning after a long battle with cancer.
Farrah Fawcett was one of the biggest names of her generation and a global superstar.
She was the Marilyn Monroe of the 70s. She embodied just the feeling of what we were at the time.
Best known for her role in the TV series Charlie's Angels and her distinctive hairstyle, Farrah's beauty was legendary.
She was gorgeous. You couldn't take your eyes off her. She just had this tremendous charisma.
But in 2006, Farrah and her friends were stunned when she was diagnosed with anal cancer.
I think a lot of people were in shock, especially just that she was this very healthy person.
But instead of having traditional cancer treatments, Farrah decided to seek alternative ones instead.
She'd always been a big fan of alternative medicine. She was going to go get that cancer and fight it till the very end.
Farrah Fawcett's cancer was when rates are good. She also didn't smoke, but was dead within 3 years. I want to know why Farrah died sooner than would be expected, and the alternative treatment she received played any part in her death.
Acclaimed forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Hunter has expertly conducted thousands of autopsies for nearly 20 years. As the chief medical examiner in one of America's biggest cities, he works closely with law enforcement and other forensic specialists to investigate suspicious deaths.
I have here Farrah Fawcett's medical documents, and will be using these along with first-hand accounts from her close friends to help me investigate the reason for her death.
March 2005. Farrah Fawcett's condo, Los Angeles. 4 years before her death. Farrah is being filmed for her new reality show, Chasing Farrah. Despite acting work drying up, people are still fascinated with her. She's being paid $1 million for appearing. And along with her boyfriend Ryan O'Neal, are among the first celebrities to open up their lives to the camera.
Farrah liked to try things out, and I think when Chasing Farrah came out was when reality television was first started I think she did it, but I don't think it was something she was that pleased about.
Now in her late 50s, Farah fills her time with her artwork and keeping in shape.
Farah was a brilliant artist. Art was the most important thing to her, besides sports. And she always focused on healthy foods.
Farrah Fawcett was in great physical shape and worked hard to maintain this look. Along with eating well, she didn't smoke. She also went to the gym, swam, and played tennis. There was nothing in Farrah's lifestyle that would indicate that she would soon become very ill.
Farrah Fawcett was born in 1947 in Corpus Christi, Texas, to an oil field worker father and housewife mother. She studied art at college, but it wasn't her art, but her beauty that opened doors for Farrah.
She got top 10 most beautiful at the University of Texas. And so she was asked by Hollywood if she would come out and do a screen test. So she wanted me to go with her.
Farrah arrived in LA in 1968 and never looked back.
As soon as she got here, she signed with Screen Gems. During that time, she did modeling, lots of commercials.
Mother always told me, sit up straight, eat all your vegetables, and stay out of small foreign cars. But Joey, Mother never told me about ultrabikes.
We started putting her in TV shows, and as soon as she started working, it didn't stop.
Then in 1976, she did a photo shoot that would change her life.
This is the photo that was taken of Farrah Fawcett. It became the biggest selling poster in the world. And I've discovered a little known medical condition of Farrah's that may have been instrumental in its success. She was born with pyloric stenosis, which is a blockage in the small intestine. It causes young children to be sick. It's relatively common and it's fixed by surgery. Farrah had this operation when she was 28 days old, which left her with a scar on her stomach.
She was very self-conscious about it. It was a source of embarrassment for her. As well, it became a problem because she had to have that scar tissue removed.
When Farrah Fawcett arrived to do the photo shoot, it was this scar that dictated her choice of outfit.
They really wanted her to do a bikini for the poster because of the scar. Farrah decided not to do the bikini, but the one piece, which is the burnt red bathing suit that she wore that made that iconic poster.
Farrah's poster sold over 12 million copies. It became one of the most popular images of the decade.
She was the Marilyn Monroe of the 70s. That's who Farrah was. She embodied the fun of the 70s, the excitement, the beauty, just the feeling of what we were at the time.
The poster's success led to Farrah being offered a major part in a new show called Charlie's Angels. It became one of the biggest shows on television.
It was a mega hit before the movie. It made all three stars, Kate Jackson, Farrah Fawcett, and Jacqueline Smith, rock stars of television. Every magazine, everybody from the world wanted to see them. Everybody wanted to be them.
And Farrah's distinctive hairstyle was copied around the world. Farrah Fawcett yearned to play more challenging roles. After only one season on Charlie's Angels, she left to pursue a movie career.
I'm glad you did it.
Farrah was well into her 50s. But then in July 2006, she discovers something that turns her world upside down. July 2006, Houston, Texas. 3 years before Farrah Fawcett's death. Farrah is at her family home, and she notices something wrong.
Farrah was home visiting her father, and she
numerous conditions that we call blood urine worsening, including diphtheria, hemorrhoids, and urinary tract infections. In many cases, it's nothing life-threatening. In Sarah's case, it was a deadly warning sign. September 22nd, 2006, UCLA Medical Center, California. 2 years and 9 months before Farrah Fawcett's death. Farrah visits the hospital to get the results of the tests she's had to determine the cause of the bleeding. It's not good news. The doctor informs her that she has anal cancer. It's malignant and may spread to other parts of her body.
I was devastated when I heard the news, but she just told me that she was going to fight this. I think a lot of people were in shock, especially just that she was this very healthy person.
She had all the healthy habits, plenty of exercise, also eating healthy. So we were all very surprised when she got the diagnosis of cancer.
She had cancer in friends who had survived. So there was a lot of cancer around, and Farrah just thought, well, this is something to take care of and get rid of.
Anal cancer is extremely rare, with a majority of cases being papillomavirus, or usually sexually transmitted. So, caused by a sexually transmitted disease.
Restore the house of the dragon to its proper glory.
Everybody knows I wrote that song. Flo? Gosh, it's been forever. You look fantastic. It's John.
From the blind date we were on years ago?
Ah, the struggling actor who didn't believe he could save his snapshot based on how and how much he drives.
I'd love to talk about it over dinner sometime.
Well, I really want to talk on the phone during dinner, but for potential customer Tom Ham, I will make an exception.
Farrah Fawcett was diagnosed with anal cancer in 2006 after noticing blood in the toilet. The news shocked Farrah and friends, as she didn't smoke, kept in shape, and ate healthy foods. Now one of America's top forensic pathologists, Dr. Michael Hunter, is re-examining all the available evidence to assess what caused Farrah Fawcett's death.
The main cause of anal cancer is the human papillomavirus, or HPV, which is usually sexually transmitted. There are approximately 14 million HPV infections in the United States every year. About 50% of them, and 15%. For most, HPV clears on its own or is prevented with a vaccine, but a very small number may develop into a cancer. So, could a sexually transmitted disease be the cause of Farrah Fawcett's illness?
Farrah was never promiscuous. She was the good Catholic girl for her whole life. And the men that she had sex with were play and wives, men she either married or had long relationships with.
But while Farrah didn't have many sexual partners, the men she dated famously did, including her first husband, the actor Lee Majors, and the man she left him for, actor Ryan O'Neal.
In 1997, when Farrah thought everything was going swimmingly with her relationship with Ryan, she walked into his Malibu place and discovered that he was in bed with an actress, 25 years old, half his age, and she blew her gasket. Ryan O'Neal and his reputation was well known, and Farrah was very much aware of it.
He was a ladies' man.
Ryan had a lot of girlfriends.
He
was a boy of America, and he did the most gorgeous women in Hollywood and was proud of it.
While Farrah's partners had numerous relationships, HPV is so prevalent in the population that it could have come from any of them. And looking through her medical documents, I see no mention of whether she was ever tested for it. So I can't rule out HPV as playing a role in her death.
But Farrah's boyfriend, Ryan O'Neal, had his own theory about what caused her cancer. He said in an interview that he believed it was the stress from the constant fights with him and his family that led to her illness.
We know now that thoughts aren't these intangible things. They do affect our biochemistry. So his point was that she'd gone through so much stress in the years leading up to her cancer. One, with, I think she had quite a difficult relationship with her stepdaughter. Another, and Ryan was himself. The two of them would argue a lot because her career was on the rise, whereas his was on the fall.
The beginnings of Farrah's relationships with men can be traced back to her childhood. When Farrah was 6 years old, she was making her way home when she was grabbed by a high school student and dragged into a field.
The kid pushed her down, tore her blouse, and she struggled to get away. She was not assaulted, but she knew somehow, she knew it was sexual. And it kind of remained in her psyche for many years to come.
The assault made Farrah distrustful of men and drew her to partners she felt could protect her.
Whether it was something major, something going on, or an Xbox, or even Ryan O'Neal, seeking out men that sometimes would attack them and make her feel safe. So clearly that feeling of being unsafe, being unstable.
Farrah wanted to be protected, but the downside of it is when you go after guys who are macho and talk with their fists, you're going to get a guy who is violent.
Ryan and Farrah's relationship was extremely passionate. And so when you get the high passion of love, you get the high passion, it can result in violence.
This volatility reached a head in 2007, just 5 months after her cancer diagnosis. While Farrah is in bed resting, Ryan gets into a heated argument with his two sons, Griffin and Redmond. Griffin accuses him of being a poor father.
Ryan and Griffin got into a fight, and Ryan pulled out a gun and fired it. Farrah heard the shot. She heard the commotion, and it was just an ugly scene.
There's no doubt that Farrah's relationship with Ryan was extremely turbulent, which could have resulted in a lot of stress. And although stress can cause a number of health problems, the evidence that it can cause cancer is weak. So I'm going to discount it in Farrah's case.
But it seems stress wasn't the only side effect of Farrah's turbulent relationships.
I can see that there was a period of time during one of her breakups with Ryan O'Neal that there were reports that Farrah had problems with alcohol and drugs. I need to investigate this. Was this simply someone drowning her sorrows, or was this an indication of a much bigger problem that could be linked to her cancer? Weak. So I'm going to discount it in Farrah's case.
But it seems stress wasn't the only side effect of Farrah's turbulent relationships.
I can see that there was a period of time during one of her breakups with Ryan O'Neal that there were reports that Farrah had problems with alcohol and drugs. I need to investigate this. Was this simply someone drowning her sorrows, or was this an indication of a much bigger problem that could be linked to her cancer?
The claims emerged in the tabloid press and followed Farrah's interview on The Late Show with David Letterman, where she appeared to be intoxicated.
Let me think. Why?
Why what?
Haven't I been?
I don't know, that's what I had just asked you.
Oh.